Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
We can't tell. We're trying to get into the room. There's blood everywhere. It looks like the person has been stabbed.
West Midlands Police have been alerted to a fatal stabbing in Birmingham. Forensic investigator Cara Nichols-Parkin is dispatched to assess the scene.
Loads of blood staining. Blood drops all the way up the stairs.
The team head to the bedroom, where emergency services discovered a body. The man is identified as 30-year-old Kenneth Ford, the tenant of the property.
He got lots of defensive wounds to his hands, which just shows that the attack had been going on for some time.
Loads of injuries, which looked like potentially from a claw hammer.
Have a quick chat, mate.
Officers at the scene identify the man who called the ambulance.
Basically, I had a call saying that, you need to call an ambulance for Ken. Something's happened. And I said, where are you? Call the ambulance if he's not in a good state. He goes, no, I've gone.
Can I ask who that was, mate?
His name's Gary O'Neill.
An officer checks the police national database of all known offenders in the UK.
Gary O'Neill, there you go, got you. That's going to be him.
Can I step over here, please, mate?
Stand here, Gary.
Can I have your name, please?
Gary O'Neill.
Obviously, murders is a serious allegation to put towards someone. So having you under arrest, OK, means we can interview you and we can get your side of the story.
No,
we know there's two sides to every story. OK. I've got to ask you about your health and well-being. Do you suffer from any heart, epilepsy, asthma, diabetes or allergy?
No.
OK.
But I did have a blood clot to the brain 10 years ago.
OK.
Swabs from Gary O'Neill will be tested for traces of Kenneth's DNA. They will also be compared to DNA found on Kenneth's body to determine if Gary was involved in causing his injuries. With Gary detained, Lisa turns to Kenneth's social media accounts to work out whether there's a connection between the two men.
I can see on here that I've moved to the area together from Ireland. This video was taken by Kenneth on the 27th, just a few hours before he's killed.
Now, this is just my house. Don't like the sofas, don't get me wrong, I've only moved in. Carpet's going to be changed. Now, that's like 2 beds. This is what Gary just used. As you can see, it's a big room. I've gave him.
You can hear his voice, and he's happy and he's proud and he's looking forward to living with his friend.
Now, that's like 2 beds. This is what Gary
Yet within 12 hours, something's happened that's ended up with Kenneth being killed.
They retrieve footage of the streets near Kenneth's house from the day he was killed.
There he is. Here we've got the suspect walking towards the front door. We've just got the suspect and the deceased left in the home address, haven't we, at that point?
Yeah. The suspect leaves screen time of 01:57.
Yeah. So it looks like he's carrying a big, shopping bag, isn't it? We could have taken the murder weapon with him.
Yeah, looks like it.
This is a real breakthrough for us because this shows that no one else is in that property, just Kenneth and Gary, which obviously leads us to believe that no one else can be responsible for what's happened to Kenneth.
The top that Gary was wearing when he was arrested has been sent to a specialist laboratory to examine for blood. Forensic scientist Steve Paddock begins a detailed blood pattern analysis.
If we find Kenneth's blood on Gary's clothing, then that would be crucial for the investigation because it would put Gary at the scene at the time that Kenneth was bleeding. So we've got a direct link with him to the assault.
His right shoulder and the blood's projected down to the lower rear of his back. Let's take a couple of stains for DNA. So what we're looking at here is the DNA results from one of the spots of blood on Gary O'Neill's grey hooded top. We can see a Kenneth Ford DNA profile matches the major contribution obtained from the blood sample on the jacket. To me, this will provide very powerful evidence that this blood has in fact originated from Kenneth Ford.
Right, we've gone to CPS with all the evidence, and CPS will authorise the charge for you. Your charge is for murder, so between the 27th of the 2nd, 22 and the 28th of the 2nd, 22 in the county of Birmingham, murdered Kenneth Ford contrary to common law. Okay, have you got any replies to that charge?
We have the defence case statement for Mr O'Neill. Quite interesting and not probably what we expected. Gary says, I went to get my PlayStation and he said that I couldn't have it. Hit me on the head, knocked me down. He kept hitting me and I was worried as I had previously had a serious head injury. I tried to hit out to stop him but couldn't. I then picked up the hammer, which was on the floor in a tool bag. I hit him with the hammer to stop him from hurting me. I do not know how many times I hit him with the hammer. I remember hitting him downstairs, but I have no recollection of hitting him upstairs. Comparing what he says was the assault by Kenneth, what are his injuries?
As far as I'm aware, I don't think he had one injury on him at all.
He then talks about a psychiatric report whereby he talks about head injury sustained and finishes it off by saying, I will plead not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter. This defence case statement has a huge impact on the investigation because we are now looking at a potential plea of manslaughter due to diminished responsibility.
To decide whether Gary has grounds for diminished responsibility due to his head trauma, the Crown Prosecution Service calls upon an independent forensic neuropsychologist to make a clinical assessment.
After assessing Mr O'Neill, there was clear evidence that the head trauma caused damage to his brain such that blood is now not flowing to parts of his brain that would help him control and organise his behaviour, and he's incapable of stopping himself once he has begun acting. It's my opinion that a defence of diminished responsibility may well be open to Mr O'Neill due to this organic damage to his brain, which were material to his behaviour at the time.
The jury verdict of guilty to manslaughter was obviously very hard for Kenneth's family.
Now, this is just my house.
They will always believe the sentence is not equivalent to the fact that their son has lost his life. Diminished responsibility gives a reason. It's not an excuse.